Hey, welcome back everybody. It's Shino. And we're back in Modded to the Magical Max. Hope you're doing well. I'm doing good. We have a heavy temporal storm approaching. I'm excited about that. We should be able to get some pretty good stuff out of this. And I'm going to take some of my big new weapons that we made in last episode. Am I able to get that sword back? No, every time I do that, it clicks and brings me the helmet. So that's unfortunate, but we've got a weapon here. So I got about 7 more hours before the storm hits. Let's keep unloading our bags. So I've got some carrots going and some turnips and pumpkins, soybeans, all that kind of going over here. A lot of stuff being harvested and getting ready. So I've been going through and gathering things up as they get kind of close to being used up. It looks like I let the turnips get a little bit too far, but that's okay. I'll find a way to manage without those turnips, I'm sure. What else have I been doing between episodes? Not a whole lot. Well, I mean, I have been doing a lot. I shouldn't say I have been doing a lot, but I have not been doing like a lot of varied stuff, primarily building and getting stuff kind of squared away. You're going to see the bees are all over here, and that's because of what we're going to be doing in this episode. And we've got a bunch of fruit to harvest too. Holy cow. Yeah, lots of stuff that we need to get done. So let me get everything ready for this temporal storm, and we're going to fight our way through this storm, see what kind of goodies we can get, and then I'll be back. All right, just a few more minutes before the storm starts, and I think I'm in a pretty good spot. I got quite a bit of food here with me. I did harvest some more while I was kind of waiting. So I got some parsnips and some other veggies here. Health-wise, I'm doing really good. It looks like grain's where I need to focus on the most, so I'm going to be eating on this flax right now. But 31.2 on my health, pretty good. I got my tier 2 stuff on. So yeah, starting to hear some guys. Close that up. There's one right there. First victim, take a hit from the sword. One hit wonder. Cool. All right, folks. Let's get ready to fight. I'm not going to keep you through all of this. I'll just pop on whenever anything good happens. If I find anything really good, I'll show you. All right, I'll be back. Well, so far, it's been going for a couple minutes, and I haven't seen a single bad guy spawned in this area. Interesting. So this is the first temporal storm that I've actually decided to fight through since I put out the night watchers. The rest of them I've just slept through. But I mean, we just had one bad guy show up, right? So we know they can still spawn over here. Where are they? Flew out. I see a guy. So they are spawning over here. Okay. All right, just not spawning very close by, it seems like. Okay. We're starting to get some now. All right, let's do some fighting. There's my first temporal gear. Cool. Fought through the night. Wasn't as big as I hoped it would be. I was hoping to see some more double-headed drifters. Didn't really see a whole lot of them. But we did get 3 more temporal gears. Got 3 more crystallized memories. 8 rusty gears, 27 flax fibers. 13 of the temporal fragments. So I'm not ashamed of my efforts from that last night, and I think everything else is clear. Yeah, it looks good. And then our essence full, 102 on that one. Cool. 323 on that one, and 688 on that one. That's pretty nice. Yeah, I need those. Let me turn this back up. Open this one back up here. Nope, I hit the spell. So yeah, I do have the telekinesis, I think is what it's called. Let's go here. Yeah, telekinesis spell. Works out really good. What it does is it allows you to pick up items that are outside of your normal range. So for example, the temporal fragments, throw that out there. I can point at that thing and I can hit the telekinesis spell and it pops it into my inventory. So anything that's in that block will get teleported to me, which comes in really handy when you're fighting down in this thing and you have items that are kind of hanging just outside of reach. You can use that spell to get there. But that's not what this episode's about. Now, that's not what we're going to be doing this episode. This episode, we're going to be doing some stuff with honey, and we're going to be using the From Golden Combs mod a little bit further. We started off with the, this is tier 1 or the starting tier beekeeping, and this is moving up to tier 2 using the ceramic hives. We're going to be going to tier 3, and we're going to be making what I think is the coolest beehive in all of Modded Vintage Story, and that's the Langstroth hive. That'll be a lot of fun. And to do that, I wanted to create kind of a cool area for doing that. And since I am Shino, and I have a Japanese name for my character, I decided I want to go ahead and do my Japanese themed garden again. So we're going to be putting in a Japanese themed garden right here. Now I've gone ahead and made some decoration pieces for that. Here is my lantern, Ishidoro. That's what this is called right here. And I'm using the wooden lantern from Primitive Survival, putting inside there. So that looks pretty cool. So these are not easy to make, and I'll kind of explain the process as we go to move this into a new location. I'll use and kind of explain how each piece works in there. But this is actually 3 blocks wide here, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks tall, and then you also have blocks all the way around this center, going up 2 levels. So you've got there's a lot of blocks in this. And, some of these blocks are only using just a very small amount of the entire block surface, but it comes in looking pretty cool when you do it that way. I use this as a yardstick when I'm kind of doing my building, because I don't want to build like some of this stuff is going to be in the water, and I don't want to chisel in the water. I want to be able to chisel above the water. So I'll use 3 pieces of dirt, and I chiseled them down just to make little yardsticks. So there's 1 block, 2 blocks, 3 blocks. So you can see how tall something's going to be and how it's going to line up in the world. So these are my pieces. We'll talk about what each one of them are in the elements. I'm going to give you a few elemental discussions about Japanese gardens. So what we're going to build here is what's called an iki niwa. Niwa means garden, and iki or ichi in some instances, or chiwa I think is the other instance of using it, refers to a pond. And so iki niwa is a garden pond is what we're doing. And so we're going to put that in all right here. I did do quite a bit of terraforming here to kind of get this to where I wanted it. And you'll see that this is something that I identified and displayed several years ago. About Vintage Story, about how you can kind of create curved water lines. Basically just, move a block down. If you're in vanilla, I did this in chisel, using a chisel block, but you can do this in vanilla too, because if you'll recall, when you're panning, you're taking off 1 layer at a time, and you get 8 layers out of it. So every layer you do is 2 pixels deep. So you can put your gravel or your sand that you want along your shoreline and just pan it and just leave it down at this layer. And then you'll see the water kind of moves right up along the edge. And I think that's pretty cool to be able to do that. So I wanted to incorporate that into this as well. Now, I had hoped that the bamboo would be in a more ready state for being able to be able to use around here. It's not. So we're going to have to do some of the elements as we go along. But the idea behind this, we're going to build this garden area first, and then we're going to get into making the Langstroth hives, and we're going to put the beehives in and around our garden area here. And I think that'll be pretty interesting. But for me to get this going, I had to get rid of the chickens, and I had to kind of move the bees out of here. So we've got a new chicken coop here. How does this look? I think it's kind of fancy. So I got an access door here from the outside, so we can come into the chicken coop from here. We got a place where we can feed our chickens, and I've only got one nest going right now because, you know, a broody hen, they got to have at least 3 eggs on there before they'll set. And I didn't want I didn't want them to, I'm missing a chicken. No, I'm not. They're both of them over there. Cool. I didn't want to have like a bunch of nests going all at once and them laying like one egg in one nest and one egg in another nest, one egg, and you know what I mean? So we'll just put one nest in there. We've got 2 hens, fill that thing up fast. So this is the way to get in and out for feeding. We can actually feed from right here as well on the troughs. So we don't have to actually get in there and cause problems to the chickens. And unfortunately, when we are inside here, we are within range. See if we can spot them from here. Maybe not. Anyways, I did hear while I was in here cooking, the chickens were getting a little anxious out there. So we are in pretty close range. Probably would be better to have this maybe 1 or 2 blocks farther away from where we're currently at. But, you know, for now, it's going to work. There's a couple things we need to do over here to get ready for the Langstroth hives. And I've got a lot of it going already, but I do want to demonstrate how we go about making these pieces here. So for the From Golden Combs mod, let's go into our handbook, Apiculture 101. I knew it was in here someplace. This talks about the From Golden Combs mod. I think we talked about this when we did the original, you know, working on the brood pot and everything. Okay, so that's the basics for it. All right, for getting everything going. For the Langstroth hive, for you to build the Langstroth hive, it's a multi-block. It takes lots of pieces to go into it, and each piece has to be kind of handled in a different way. So we'll walk through that process. But you're going to need several things together for being able to work on this. Most notably, you're going to need to build some of the subcomponents that go into it, like these hive panels. You're going to need to know how to make those. When you get into making the frames, you're going to need to make a frame rack. It's going to require some of those pieces as well. And then you're also going to need the frames themselves. And the frame liner is also a manufactured item. So it's linen, but you have to turn it into wax linen. And you do that by mixing it in a barrel. So the same thing here, when you go to make these hive panels, you're going to need the beeswax. I think I got some more in here. Yes. So you're going to need the beeswax. And if I push on that, click on it so we can take a little deeper look into it. To make the hive pieces, it is 1 beeswax to 4 boards. Pretty simple. Come in here, put in your beeswax, and it's going to go directly into the barrel itself. Put the boards in, and that will activate the recipe. We'll turn 64, and it's going to take 2 days. We're going to seal that up and let it start going. I've went ahead and done 2 barrels of 64, so we've already got these done, and these are the aged boards that we're doing here. This is where you're doing the waxed linen, and it's basically the exact same thing, except now it is a 1-to-1. Same thing. Got to put it in the barrel, put the beeswax in first, put the linen on top, hit seal. And again, that's just going to take a couple hours for that to get done. So, all right, let's get started. First thing I would like to do is we're going to end up putting some little piers right down along in here. I want to have them kind of staggered in different areas. So we're going to, we're not going to do a whole lot of like, this is not a how to build, but this is something I think that a lot of people would be interested in seeing, kind of how I go about setting some of this stuff up. So let's go ahead and we're going to use this area right here to kind of demonstrate how to build this. Okay. And we're going to turn these into chisel blocks by using a chisel and right clicking with the mouse button on it. Once we've turned it into a chisel, I'm going to select probably, let's start off with the 8x8. We're going to do this side and we're going to do this side as well. And then I'm going to do the F again. I'm going to go to 4x4. And yeah, let's do 4x4 to start off with, just to kind of separate things out here just a little bit, just to give us a little more space here to work. What I want to do though is I want to create a little bit of wabi-sabi. Wabi-sabi means, you know, kind of organized chaos is what I'm looking to create here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create some piers that will show up in the water. And this is a small pond, so they don't need to be very big. But I want them to be kind of alternating, kind of in an unusual way. So I actually probably need this side to be back like this. Let's take that. And let's take this down to a 2x2 now. And we're going to knock this area down here. So we're going to end up having a 4x4. Yeah. But it'll be kind of a offset. All right, now there's one more thing that I would like to do is now we need to do another technique, which is referred to as intentional aging, making it look like it is been decayed or broken down, or, you know, however you want to describe it, but not perfect. It's a way of changing the perspective of what a person would expect to see in a new garden. They would not expect to see something that is, you know, deteriorated. But that's exactly what we're going to make our eyes do when they look at this. We're going to make it look a little deteriorated. Oh, that looks good. Okay. See how fun that is? Now, watch this. Now, watch this. I'm going to take, if you look at these different colors, now these are all the colors that I decided I wanted to use in my garden. And you'll see them kind of all over the place where I've mixed these colors together. We'll talk about how I did that. But we've got some good textures here that we can add to this. And if you look at this up close, let's get up here close to it. You can see the different colors in the pixels that are there. And what I want is I want something that's going to be very similar to this, but a little darker. And I think that is going to be the chert. So I'm going to grab me a piece of this chert. And we're only going to use in the bottom level, the area that's going to be underwater. So I'm going to use my, again, this is still vanilla. I'm going to point at my bottom piece. I'm going to hit the F key. It's going to open up where we've been changing this. You see this plus sign right here. I'm going to drop in that chert. So now I can hit the F key and I can select the chert. And now I can come in here and I can say, put chert in right there. And doesn't that look like mud? Look at that. Isn't that perfect? Just that little bit of extra. Add that in there. Oh, looky there. Stand back up. Let's get back and take a look at it. That looks good. That looks really good. Okay. So how do we, you know, that took a little bit of time to do. And all of this took a lot of time to do. Now, I could break this down and move it over, but then I'm only going to have one of these elements. I'd like to have like 3 or 4 of these in the pond area here. At least 2, but probably 3. Because I'm thinking about putting them in just right in this area right here. And I don't know if I can duplicate all of that, you know, like I just did. So how are we going to do this? Well, this is where the modded stuff is going to come in and help us out. So I'm going to use a couple of different tools here, primarily just one tool. And I'm going to grab some more of this chert. And like I said, I think we're going to make 2 of these. So let's get 4 pieces of chert. I may only need, I'm only going to need 2 pieces of chert. Yeah, I'm just going to need two pieces of chert. No biggie. So here we go. I'm going to take and I'm going to drop that there. I'm going to drop that there. Remember, there's two of those tall. I'll drop that there, and I'm going to drop that there. Let's turn these into our chisel blocks. And then we're going to look at this. We're going to hit the F, and we're going to add the chert here. And same thing. Hit that. Add the chert. There we go. Now I'm going to go to the pantograph. The pantograph is from the Chisel Tools mod by Quentin. QP Tools. And it's found called Chisel Tools. And with it, we've got a mode. We do all kinds of stuff with it. And what we're going to do is we're going to take a photograph. Okay. And do that, I'm going to left click. I'm going to hold the pantograph. I'm going to left click. Okay. And now I'm going to take a look at this one and I'm going to right click. Look at what it did. And it's an exact duplicate of what I just made over there. Same thing. I'm going to do a left click there. And now I'm going to right click the top part. I'm going to click again. And I'm going to click again. And look at what I've been able to create. Isn't that cool? But it gets better. Oh, it gets so much better. So watch this. We've got this one, and these are now starting to look very similar. But if I were to hit just using the vanilla chisel and hit rotate, and now I right click, and then I right click that one, I just moved them. And now I'm going to do the same thing here, but I'm going to do it 3 times. And there we go. So now I have 3 different variations of the exact same chisel block, but I got it so I can move them into different directions and different places. Isn't that something else? Now the tricky part. We need to move these into place. Now, I am not going to create a different, a second one of these. This is just going to be one item. But let's take a look at it. I'm going to click on the F. You can see we're using polished chert and polished periodotite. So those are the 2 blocks that are being used in this one. And then for this area up here, we're using 4 different blocks here. So you've got periodotite, conglomerate, andesite rock, and also the polished periodotite. So lots of different things kind of happening here. And this is 3 blocks tall. We're going to take this piece and it's going to go into the water. There. And then the second piece. Do we need a shovel? Maybe. Here we go. And this piece is also going to be a shovel. Perfect. Oh, yes. Okay. Finally, our lantern. Can I pick up our lantern out of there? I can. I'm going to set it down right there. That's perfect. All right, let's start breaking this thing up. We're going to start off with this piece here first. This is the center piece of where we're going to put it. It's going to be going in right here. Drop that in. And I guess I should point these out so we can see we're using the chert rock, periodotite rock, and polished basalt are the 3 stones that we've used in this bottom area. And when you've done if you're moving a piece, a chisel piece, you can either label the pieces right there. You can set the name on the labeled piece. You can move it that way. So that way you can kind of keep track of where everything is. Or I do just move them one piece at a time. Perfect. This next piece, you're going to see periodotite conglomerate rock, polished andesite, and polished conglomerate. And you're going to see that becomes the very flat top of where the lantern goes. Looks like we may have to try to rotate this one also. Yeah. All right, now we're working on this top piece, and there's a lot of pieces that go to this. So we're going to kind of remove these one piece at a time, starting with the center. And I think if I go to my empty hand, no, it won't show me. All right, let's just break this one here first. Go. That gives us something to build against. Cool. So now each one of these represents a block. So there's block 1, 2, 3, 4. And you'll see we also have corner pieces that need to be fit into there as well. So in each one of these represents, so even though it's a very small amount of chisel piece, very important that it gets put into place as well. And you can see that's a full block that's inside there. That's why we're able to put a lantern inside that area, because it is a full block. Doesn't that look cool? Check out the garden area. Woo! All right, let's do some water plants. All right, we're in a good spot now. We can start making our Langstroth hives. So let's get started with this. Let's go ahead and grab first. I'm going to grab all of these out of here. We'll grab all of these out of here. I think we'll have enough. We'll grab that. And we'll grab that. Cool. First thing we're going to need to make is the base. And here you go. This is what I was looking for earlier, is trying to figure out how to make all of this stuff. And so you can see what we're going to need. We're going to need our hammer. We're going to need the hive panels, and we're going to need the aged logs. This is important. Hive base held in backpack slots only. That means one of these. Okay. So let's take a look at our inventory, and let's see which one is the smallest. Looks like the one that has the iron sword and the boards. Iron sword, boards, tin bronze knife, which we bring down here, and the bucket, which I'm going to put that bucket on the ground. Get it out of our inventory. So I'm going to take that backpack off now, and I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to put it on the ground as well. There we go. And yeah, we got fewer backpack spots now, but that's okay. We'll make it. We'll manage. We're going to start off by making probably just one of these. So we're going to put 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 4. And there's our base piece. And we're planning on having these, we're going to be harvesting the beehives coming along here and stopping at different locations to harvest the beehives. And so, we're just going to have them kind of scattered in and amongst all of this stuff. And I'm thinking like, first one's going to go in like right here. Here we go. Next thing we need to make is the supers. And again, you can mix up your woods if you want to and come up with different ones. I'm just going to go ahead and make these all out of just the normal aged wood. That's all I'm going to make these out of. So I'm going to need 1, and I'm just going to throw these on the ground. 2. There's enough for 2. Let's do 2 more. That way each one's going to have 3 on it. And just going to put it right on top of there like that. Now, each one of these supers, you can take it back off. You do have to have the empty inventory. But each one of these supers, if you... just empty hand. Click on it. This is where your frames go for your beehive. Okay? And each one of those is going to function like its own hive over there. Just like, so every time you harvest one of these, you're going to get 2 to 3 honeycomb off of it. So you can see, we got 10 in each one of these. So it's going to be like enough for 20 in one location. That's pretty good. And these two pieces are not, because they're not colony pieces. So you don't have to worry about having them in your bag. But you remember we made 3 supers for each one. That's because one of these supers is now going to receive that piece right there. So when you do this, they have to be all of the same piece. And this is where the beehive's going to go in at, is into that area right there. We're going to take our beehives, our skeps, and we're going to right click on it. You see now the beehive is out of my inventory. It's no longer there, and it is now on top of. And you see that the nomenclature now changed to a populated Langstroth brood box. Look at this one. It says empty. Okay, so now we have bees inside that. All right, before we go any further, there's one cool thing I'd like to do here. Core Bazaar does give you the opportunity to make signs, and bee signs are pretty easy. We'll make 2 bee signs. And where we have this set up at, I'll put a little sign right, yeah. I'll put one right here. Looky there. And I'll put one over here. There we go. Cool. And we make this using, again, whatever boards that we want to use this for. We're going to use the aged ones for doing this. And we only need, you only need 1 of these. 2 can be helpful. 3 is a little cumbersome. So I wouldn't suggest making that many, but we're going to go ahead and make 2. And again, these are, these are pieces that they got to go into your inventory or into your bag slot. So control 3. And you know what we need? We need that table. Cool. That'll come in handy. You'll see why here in just a minute. All right, and we need to make the frame now from the linen. We're gonna make the frame liners. Make lots of these, okay? You're not gonna make too many because they do have durability on them. So you will go through them. So don't feel like, it's a waste to make too many like I just made. Remember, we've already talked about this. These each hold 10 frames. So it's going to take 20 linen just to fill up one of these. So I need a total of 40 linen just to get what we've got here going now. If we make more or we expand this, because we can make this up to 7 tall. We're going to keep making these taller. We're going to add more onto it. As we produce more, we've already got enough there to start making some more. So, yeah, just keep making them. You'll be fine. I'm going to go ahead and put these extra ones inside here for now. All right, let's make the empty frames. Take that and a bunch of sticks and that. All right, so how do you make this work? Well, you're going to take these frames and you're going to place them inside this area right here. And you can just, there you go. You can just hold click and it'll go ahead and fill them in all the way up. There you go. Now we're going to take these frame liners and we're going to control click right across here, fill them all up. And you can see the tooltip. Check that out. It says empty frame there, lined frame there. That's how you know that you got it. So control and click, and you've got to move across each one individually. There you go. So they're all done. Pull them up out of there, and then you just come right up over to your super, and you just feed them in. Look at the frame. Click. That closes it. And then I'm going to close that one up as well. And then I'm going to go to my control 3 so I can pick this thing up. And I'm going to put it right on top of there. And there. And there. All right. That one is done. We still need to get some flowers around this thing. But what's cool about this is we don't have to worry about protecting it. raccoons getting into it and destroying our hives. That's pretty cool. All right, let's get the rest of these made up. There you can see your bees will fill new frames in 3 days for that one. So 3 days we'll be ready to harvest. Same thing here, 3 days. And so, you know, each frame, there's 20 frames in here, so we can actually wait 60 days if we wanted to. And it's just going to keep right on producing. And so every time they populate, every time they don't swarm, but every time that counter goes off, they'll populate another frame. And since we've got 20 frames in there, we don't have to harvest right away. That is the biggest advantage of the Langstroth hive over the traditional hive. So in this area, you know, once that says it's harvestable, they're not going to produce any more honey. Same thing here. Once this thing's full and it's harvestable, they're not going to produce any more honey. You're not going to get any more off of it. But each one of the frames that's in each one of these Langstroth hive is acting as if it was its own skep. So we've got basically enough for 20 skeps in that area and 20 skeps in that area. That's where these come in really handy. We're going to do a little more texturing here. And I just want to kind of show, this is an interesting technique. So you cannot combine two chiseled blocks into the same piece. So this is already a chiseled block. And this is also a chiseled block right here. Okay. If I put it down here and we take a look at it with the chisel, see, it's already marked as a chiseled block. Okay. All right. You can't combine chiseled blocks into chiseled blocks. Okay. You can't do that. So, but what you can do is you can combine non-chiseled blocks into a chiseled block. So I want to have acacia, and if I were to do an acacia log, sorry, I think this is just important. I didn't mean this to be a Let's Build series, but there we go. So I've got a debarked acacia log, different from this one, right? Because this is a chisel block and that's the normal block. Okay. So if I were to put this block into here, you see the orientation of the block means that whenever I go to add pieces in, that's the texture I'm going to see. That's important to remember when you're doing chiseling. So if you want to see that, and remember, texture in this game is more than just you know what they've given us. It's the orientation that we choose it to be. So if I wanted the acacia log, if I wanted to see that texture on the top of this, then I could just use a normal one. But because I would rather see this texture show up on top of this layer here, with these blocks, I have to chisel these first, and then I can put down the put the basalt into it. Okay. All right. Enough said. So what I have here is I now have several of these blocks that we can begin to do stuff with. And so I need, I'm going to need one block just to kind of help elevate everything here. So I can work on this, and then we're going to, I'll show you what we're about to do. Let's take that, and you see I've got the basalt inside there. I need some stools. I need some seating areas for this area here. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to go to the 8x8. We're going to knock this area out like that. See what happens now with our textures. You see that? We still have that texture, and we have the side textures. So even though we're into the middle of it, we still have the side texture, and that's what we want. Cool, cool. So let's take this off right here. There we go. Now I want to use the basalt. And now I can come in with the basalt. Oops, wrong one. Put that back in. Now go to the basalt and put that back in. Now I can add the basalt down, and voila. We have a semi-stool. Same thing here. Cool, cool. But I don't want it to be quite that big. So let's knock that back inside here. Cool, cool. We're gonna put cross piece in here. I'm gonna take it out right there. So 2 down, right? Just like that. And we're gonna go back into our log. Oh, baby. Look at that. Isn't that remarkable? Love it. Now, what else could we do here? Well, we could, if we wanted to, we could knock this back and put, a black edge on it. Or, what I'm thinking would look really cool is if we come right here, so that we're right on top of, and we don't have to go, all the way through. Looky there. Isn't that cool? We've got nice little areas that we can come in here and sit down at. We're going to walk up to the edge. Here we go. And we're going to hit G and change our orientation. Here, look at us. Sitting here and enjoying our beautiful garden space. Oh, man. That looks really cool. I'm very happy with it. We'll get some more stuff. Once we start putting in the bamboo, this will become even more spectacular. I'm going to share that picture on the Shino Gaming Discord community. And if you're not already a member of the gaming Discord community, you should go check it out. Links down in the description below so that you can join it. There we've got a good group of people that you can hang out with, ask questions, share. There's places there where you can share posts about your own world. And you can also get this mod pack, the Modded to the Magical Max mod pack, the one that I've created. It is there for download, so you can play it in your own single player world. And we're going to be setting up a community server. And when that community server goes live, you'll be able to actually go and play in a world where we'll be using this mod pack and play with other members of the gaming Discord community. So go check it out. There is a description. There's a link inside when you get into the community. There is an area there where you can sign up as a member and get a membership to the Discord community. And anybody who has a membership to the Discord community will be able to be whitelisted onto the server. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put some little pathway down through here. And I'm going to use slate for this. I think slate will come out looking pretty good as far as adding a little additional color and help tie it in using the same amount of texture that we've already got kind of in this area. So I'm going to do that, and then we're going to put some sand in along here as well. Just intersperse it amongst. Oh yeah, I like that. That's going to come out looking pretty good. I think I'm going to need to put a fence in or something right along here just to delineate this area, because we're going to have to still get back over into this area. But I want to show that it's part of a separate area. And I'll do part of that using bamboo. We'll be able to drop in some bamboo along this edge, and that will kind of create a natural barrier. Yes, I love it. That's going to do it for this episode. Next episode, we are going to go storm in some of the battle towers that we've got around here. We're going to take a break from some of this building stuff that we've been doing, and we're going to get into a little bit of combat phase. So, yep, next episode, attacking the battle towers. Let's see what kind of good stuff we can get. All right, folks. Hey, thanks for spending time with me. This is Shino, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care.